and in the administration. Is this where the problem has been? That's what's happening. What is this?
Students are now occupying the building. All members of staff have left and they have been locked out. As from now, this building is in possession, occupied by the students.
I think this goes beyond personal grievances. I think this is absolutely huge. Yeah. I can't believe, I mean, I'm so pleased that this is happening now. I can't say how pleased I am. Every time I think about the way that we've actually done something, I just want to smile. But students have been taking the worst deal from this government for years and years. I mean, people have a very bad attitude to students. There's a general public feeling that students moan and whinge all the time and don't really know that they're born. All I can say is that the average wage in this country is £10,000 a year now. We are expected to live on £3,000. We have no housing benefit. We have no employment benefit during our vacations. I mean, I can count myself lucky that I'm just independent. There are some students who, by the time they've got to 16, have a family behind them that are expecting them to look after them and bring home some kind of money. I know people that don't do further education that should, because they just couldn't afford to do so because they had other responsibilities. And education is a right that absolutely everybody should be entitled to in this country.
When we have seminars, we have maybe 4 or 5 books on a reading list. But yet, if you can find any of them, there's usually about 2 copies. They're short-known copies, so that you can only take them out for 3 or 4 hours. You can't even find them most of the time because you've got 120 students looking for these same books. And it just doesn't work. You don't find any books.
Well, what happened? It started on Tuesday. We voted for it. About 5 people ran into the canteen, shut out the canteen staff, and then we thought, oh my God, we've got to cook dinner and it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So we rushed out, got some people to buy some potatoes and beans and stuff, and we had hot meal on the first night, and I thought, we don't want to make a profit out of students, so evening meals are 50p, and we managed to stick to that. Yep. And we've had loads of willing volunteers. Here's Fiona, tonight's guest chef. Cooking away, stirring away her risotto there. Canteen prices are much, much cheaper now than they were under the occupation, under this profit-making company. So, because we're not making a profit, and because we've got lots of free help, canteen prices are more than halved. So, which is a bargain if ever there was one.
Much more.
Much cheaper.
50p for a plate.
50p. Everything is less than 50p. And we sell, apart from cigarettes, which are £1, and you have to sell a few cigarettes, you know, so otherwise we'd run out, which we couldn't be doing with that.
I think the food is better.
Much better. Much. On the first night with our jacket potatoes, the jacket potatoes were that big, not that big, you see, and they were cheaper too. It's been a veritable feast, one veritable feast after another.
Yep. Well, it seems to me that at every meeting we've been to Occupy, we have swung and we have got a majority. Yeah, the main issue has been the workshops. I haven't heard anybody say they disagree with our demands. I haven't heard anybody say that they disagree with the occupation. All I've heard is a lot of people saying they need the workshops open. They can't get on with the work in their own time. Now, this is not an issue at Moorgate. This is not a problem. All we have a problem with at Moorgate is getting these people to listen to us. And I think they will on the day. And I really think that we should stop being quite so physically tired about this issue. We haven't even been doing it for a week, you know. I think we want to get out there tomorrow morning. We want to get everybody down to that bloody site. We want to remember what we're fighting for. And we want to swing these bastards because they will stand with us. They're not going to miss the kind of work. And later I'd like to bring up the workshop issue, which I'm sure will bring joy to all your hearts, but it needs to be discussed, okay? And I just think we ought to get back this enthusiasm. We've got 4 sites now, 4 bloody sites, you know? I mean, people weren't even sure of Calcutta. Look at us. We're stuck in here. There's no way they're going to get us out. Now we've got Jury Street suspended. We've got help on hand from the kindergarten. This is something to be pleased with, and I reckon we can swing it tomorrow, but only if we get out there there and we believe in ourselves. And we've got something to believe in here.
I'd like to say I come from Kolkata House and I actually oppose... As I said, I come from Kolkata House and you may want to boo that, but you may want to cheer, but sooner you're not, and just be silent and just listen that I oppose the motion of occupation. Having done so, I was of the opinion that it was a revolutionary plot, and I told them not to go ahead. However, they voted democratically, 416 to 12 votes, me being one of the dozen voting against it, to go into occupation. And I wanted to see and prove that my suspicions that they were all revolutionaries and extremists was correct. So I joined the occupation and become part of it. And I spoke to students and tried to see how they felt about it. And I've actually, in the last 3 months since I've started a degree course, seen to the point of embarrassment in poverty of other students. And it made me feel quite embarrassed that I opposed it made me feel quite embarrassed that I opposed the occupation, because when I think about it, another reason why I opposed the occupation was because it never affected me. I could go to the library. I could go to the library to get a book, and if a book wasn't there, it didn't matter, because I'd go down to Dillon's and go and buy one. And that's what it's all about. Not how it affects you, but other students. And the poverty that I've seen, I actually really feel for them. And I said to some students, what are you achieving by going in occupation for 2 weeks or 3 weeks? They said, if we don't do nothing now, we've tried writing to our MPs, we've tried demonstrations, we've tried lobbying, nothing's worked. This is the only weapon we have left. It's a last resort. And if for the sake of sacrificing 3 weeks, I'm trying to save a degree for 3 years. He says, I want to fail my degree on a lack of ability, not on lack of stability, because they're getting no support whatsoever. And finally, I'd like to say to all those students who are in occupation, I apologise for opposing it initially, because it was a selfish attitude that I take. And I'm now...
It is true that an injunction has been served from 1:15. The paperwork. Not on the buildings that you occupy at the moment, but on all those buildings you don't occupy. That's right. Can I just say?
You have to see the paper first. If you don't see the paper,
Can I just say, in discussions that the Directorate have had with your representatives, we carried on discussing because we recognise the real concerns about various things like accommodation and so on.
We've been talking from the beginning of the year.
But what you're asking, in many respects, cannot be just done locally. There's a lot of the funding is based on government policies which we all try to change. Why you're all trying to fight one another in this Polytechnic, I cannot understand. What we should be doing, instead of fighting one another, is working together. We're prepared to work with you, and we've spent quite a number of days talking to your representatives, trying to find out how we can. All you seem to do is make our lives more difficult to do it. Can't we actually get together and do something in unison, instead of small minorities that don't represent... There are 16,000 students in this Polytechnic. We can't get 16,000 here. The corridor's not full of people. Anyway, listen, I have learnt a lot talking to your fellow people who have been representing you. We're going to try and do something. Right, well, how do you need to be represented? Someone else. Well, try. Listen. Okay. Listen. Shut up. If we are agreeing, we're here to try and get more funding for the students. Let us try and find ways of doing it. Let us talk amicably. While we're not talking, we're not doing anything.
Yeah, but it's just a one-way thing. We're just listening to what they've got to say. They're not listening to us, are they? They don't see what we want them to.
don't want to You're in contempt of court if you do try and play.
Right. I'll have another speaker now and move to someone else.
Very, very interesting hearing about all these ideas that student solidarity all together. Now the point is that a lot of us have overdrafts and debts to do these courses. I mean, on the LSF, a lot of us are in 7 grand, 8 grand debts. Now, where's student solidarity going to pay that off with? Yeah. And basically, all that happens is, by doing this, you just fuck up our lives.
Yeah.
The police are attempting to serve an injunction upon this building to try and prevent student occupation.
New batteries in it.
Here.
Can you turn that light out, please?
I don't know how the students got into the building because I wasn't here.
That's a bad move.
We'll get in the back.
There's another building which is one of them.
Can you move closer to the van or further away, so people can get past?
Who's going to move the van?
Can you tell the press what's going on, please?
We'll have to liaise with the duty inspector who's not here at the moment.
Any idea what's going on? No idea what's going on.
Can you tell the press what's happening, sir?
To make a comment, please.
Would you like to make a comment?
Not at the moment, no.
To speak to the press.
Would you like to make a comment?
I've been instructed not to speak to the press.
Please, excuse me, would you like to make a comment to the press? What do you think of this occupation? Please tell.
I think it's illegal.
Because the provost said it was breaking off negotiations because we damaged property. This is a downright lie. We haven't, and we're occupying here till we get treated properly.
Ask one of them what they think about it.
I will certainly intervene
When there's a breach of the peace.
if there's a breach of the peace,
Right,
if
so-
there's any criminal damage, if there's any offence. At the moment, you've been informed. If there's anyone doesn't understand
Are
it,
you happy with the fact that
listen,
there's...
I understand completely that you're in contempt of court. I understand, I think that you all are aware of that, and that if there's any further proceedings, please, if it's not, no doubt, ask for a further explanation. That you understand that, and that clearly I'm a witness for those people here that are in contempt of court. If they now, being fully aware, have failed to leave.
But you'll actually only remove people if there's actually a breach of the peace.
You
can't remove us because of an injunction.
I personally don't wish to get involved in this dispute.
Right, so if we
and
say...
I don't wish to get involved with the dispute between you and this, because, I mean, there are...
Well, we don't want to bring you out at this time.
Indeed,
No, we don't.
because, I mean, we're talking about your future, the Polytechnic. I think it's a good Polytechnic.
Yeah.
I don't want to get involved.
You can't actually remove us for an injunction for trespassing or whatever. You have to remove us because there's a breach of the peace. And if we are a peaceful demonstration, we're not damaging any part of the property, we're a very peaceful demonstration.
I do not intend to intervene in the dispute.
So there's,
Other
there's no
than
breach
I
of
can
peace.
go
There's
to
no
the-
breach of peace. We...
No. The only way I will intervene, in the sense, is if there's a breach of the criminal law. But I am a witness here to the fact that it appears to me now that you are all aware that you are in contempt of court.
Yep.
If anyone takes you to the High Court as being in contempt of failing to leave now, I, like anyone else, will be a witness at the High Court.
That's fair enough.
But I don't wish to involve police action.
For a breach of the peace, actually, one of these two gentlemen would have to actually physically remove us from this building. then we would have to...
What if you resisted, you mean?
Yeah. If we resisted, these two gentlemen...
If we start getting into any sphere of the criminal law, obviously, we'll take action. And I don't, I mean, looking at you and hearing something of the dispute, albeit from one side, you've obviously got your case as well. I don't want to get involved in that side.
We're not trying to antagonise you or mess you up.
No, I mean, you're not.
You're just doing your job.
If we, after we've read this and you've seen this, if we still stay in this building peacefully, we're not going to break anything, we're not going to scream or shout, we're just going to have the doors closed, and we're still in this building, then what happens?
You're in contempt of court.
Which means what?
Well, as far as it's up to the High Court what they want to do with you. You clearly...
So then tomorrow morning...
So when that gentleman
you're...
you would arrest us and take us...
No, you can't.
No. You are now, I mean, reading it slowly, suffering from dyslexia. I mean, you know, I've noted it. I mean, it's hilarious that you stand in front of the beak tomorrow and tell him that sort of thing, that you're students of the Poly and you can't read things too fast, etc. I mean, it's for him to decide whether you were genuine or not.
Well, we have to have reasonable time.
Yes, but I think people were straining the point a little bit.
So tomorrow, if we all stay in this building now, then what happens next?
It depends entirely, if you do decide to take that course of action, it depends entirely what the judge decides to do with it.
If the judge decides that we are in contempt of court, if the judge decides to take further action, can you give us any idea of what kind of further action he would be able to take?
I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, it's in the civil case, and I wouldn't like to mislead you.
Trespassing is a civil offence. The police can't involve themselves in it. They can only get involved when a criminal offence has occurred. Trespassing, what we're doing now, is a civil offence. It's got nothing to do with the police. The police have only been involved if they believe a breach of the peace is likely to happen. So if we're very peaceful, if we keep the place lovely and clean and don't hurt it... Right. So if you physically try to remove me from this building and I resist, then a breach of the peace, then he can remove.
If you abide by the judge's ruling, then we are very happy to discuss with the President of the Union and others and to continue discussing the situation, but I would advise you that you should also leave the other buildings. Not just... No, I'm advising you of the position.
You're standing there with two police officers. With all due respect.
The purpose of asking the police officers to be here is to make entirely clear to you, as they have indeed done, the legal position. You are, as they have said, in contempt of court. We do not know what the judge will do, but the easiest way of avoiding this situation is to leave the building immediately.
But we'll have to get some advice. We'll have to have some legal advice.
Would you agree with that we need to talk amongst ourselves to decide that as we're here as a group, as a body...
You can do exactly what you want, but I'm just advising you that as the inspector said, you are in contempt. Presumably, the longer you're here, the longer the contempt, but that's up to you. Oh, you are?
Well, we haven't had reasonable times to leave.
Look, the order was made by the judge at 1:15. It took immediate effect.
We don't know about it.
You do now because you were told.
You've just informed us.
I'm sorry.
Well, we haven't
you know
had
now.
time to read it or leave.
I think that you should consider your position, which is a very serious one. We've made the point.
Thank you very much. We will consider your position.
To clear this up, the injunction actually states, it's named the entire student executive, 4 other people, and also, and this is the bit that matters, and all other members of the City of London Polytechnic Students' Union. Now what this means is that not only every student that is involved in the occupation will be in contempt of court if this injunction is officially legal. It also means that every student that isn't involved in this occupation, and even is against this occupation, is currently in contempt of court. Okay? That's all I have to say on that.
Yeah. We'll bring those coffee cups back out now for the cameras, you know.
The two administrative blocks, which we felt were probably the most important in some ways, were taken so easily it was untrue. In India House, I went up to the 3rd floor to the admissions office and I said to the staff behind the counter, we're occupying the building now. And one of the women said, oh right, well what should we do then? I said, well if you want to take up your personal belongings and put all the private and confidential stuff away, then we'll just come into the office and you can leave. She said, all right, thank you. She shut the little sliding door and went about her business, and they all left very peaceably and supportively. Apparently the same was true of this building. Although in this building, 2 quarters have stayed.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. We thought it's a bit the hardest. I mean, everyone said don't take hand stitch because you won't get it.
That's right.
We walked in, it's just like, I mean, it was a bit of a struggle, but we got it in the end. That's what matters, and we're here.
What was the struggle?
The struggle was that there were 2 doors. First of all, the first door's locked, then you've got a secondary door which is also locked. But we solved the problem by sending girls in who were going to pay the crush fees. They opened the second doors for us, we got in through the first doors. So effectively we occupied the building, and we came up to these floors here and said we've occupied the building, and the dean, one of the provosts kind of had a heart attack. She thought, no, you can't do it, you know. But we have. And the provost is locked out of his office. I mean, we've got the Polytechnic, we might not have 2 sites, but we've done it, and you know, I think we should be proud of ourselves that we've done it.
The point is, as soon as we got into Houndsditch, then basically it run smoothly from there. Everyone left peacefully, and there was no protesters. Picked the stuff and went out. And that was it.
You haven't caused any damage to the
no.
We took a resolution there was to be no damage.
Yeah.
No
And in fact, we've lost.
The provost has lied about that, so there's been vandalism and damage, just to split meetings up.
Yeah. Well, he's made allegations. I don't know whether he's lied. He's made allegations, and we haven't actually. They've nothing to do with us, even if those allegations are true about the damage.
I don't think he's
organised cleaning meetings.
Yeah. He's not really the right person to speak on it because he hasn't been into any of the occupied buildings. So how can any member of management come out with these sweeping statements and say, well, you know, you've smashed a window here and you've done this there, because they do not know what's going on. The students have occupied the buildings, the student occupation, all management and lecturers are out, basically.
I think it's probably something to note. I think that the provost and all these people, there's a breakdown in communication there.
Yeah.
So I think the amount of slurs and I think the deputy provost and the rest of it, I think they were ranting on about vandalism and stuff like that. But it's I think there's a big communication gap between the two. It's incredible. I think it's also important to note that this isn't fun. I mean, we're not doing this for a kick.
Yeah.
Some of us haven't washed for days. I mean, we haven't eaten properly. I mean, we've been reduced to occupations. And I mean, we didn't want to take buildings forcibly. You don't want to see lecturers and technicians quaking with fear in front of you because you've just taken over their building. It's not a kick. I mean, it's crap, and we just had to do it. I mean, it's horrible not to sort of wash or sort of eat properly the rest of it, and have to sleep awkward hours and to be on guard and all the rest of it.
What's amazed me is that everyone is come together and everyone's helping out, and the atmosphere, it's a total, it's
much more friendly now.
Yeah, it's great, and it's like a communal atmosphere. Everyone's helping each other out, you know, in the kitchens, and everyone's doing their own job, and it's just great. It's just that everyone's doing their bit for the occupation. There's so many people involved, and people have just worked so hard for it.
Well, I'm schoolkeeper, but not here, but I'm also the new P branch secretary. So it's our lads that's supporting them. But unfortunately, what they're doing now by taking Houndsditch is they're losing support.
Why do you say that?
Well, basically, no one can get in and no one's going to get paid. And I'm afraid it's the old story, the old syndrome. Once they're affected in their pockets, then they'll start going against them.
Well,
it started already.
The staff aren't getting paid.
No one's getting paid. And the people that support them's not getting paid. And to them, that's wrong.
What we have to decide now is to take a vote.
Where are the committee members to support us in this?
Well, yeah, don't look at me. I mean, John just explained to me. I mean, Calcutta's at the point of trying to decide, because I mean, they might be getting eviction notices served as well. So we have to sort of decide if an eviction notice is going to be served here, whether we leave, or do we stay and leave under passive resistance?
Isn't it better to concentrate everything in one building if we're all going to be evicted from one?
I think we should stay. The same thing is going to happen in Calcutta. We might have Calcutta to go back to. That's the whole point.
No, but
how many people are in Calcutta at the moment?
Much more than here. We're 15.
No, I don't think.
But they're all coming back after the march, though, aren't they?
No, I think we should actually wait to see
what John says
comes through the door. If it's a writ or if it's an eviction notice, then decide from then.
When the eviction notice is
No point in all talking at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we think about it now and we decide when the thing comes,
Yeah.
you know, if it's an eviction
We
order
might not
or
have
a
that much
writ.
time though.
Yeah,
Well, we have a half an hour lag. We agreed to a half an hour lag.
If they agree to it, we only have to negotiate.
Well, we
that.
can
It's not-
agree for 10 minutes.
They will give you time to read the writ anyway.
We can't crash this out in 10 to 15
No, what we can do is discuss it now. We can discuss
I think we
it.
should phone back to Calcutta and get some committee members over here to show their solidarity if we're going to stay here while we're being evicted. But we're going to leave anyway because the eviction order is final. There's nothing we can do. We might as well go back to Calcutta House and secure that one as the last building.
But we can't lose ground now.
They can't.
It can't be because we've got to have the injunction first. They've got to get the injunction.
I know, but I think the same thing that's happening here.
No, the injunction can't be. It's just that we've not had anything
There's no
received
injunction
yet.
at Calcutta.
There's no injunction.
There's not yet. I think they're expecting it.
Let's just chill out a bit and leave it until it happens.
Why don't we just sit tight until we know something definite?
I don't think we should be discussing any more of this in front of people who aren't students here.
Well, yeah, I think it's important.
We shouldn't be discussing any more in front of people who aren't members of the
No,
National
true.
Students
I think it's
Union.
important as well we relax. I mean, like, if it does come to passive resistance, they're just going to drag you out. I mean, there's the guy. He doesn't. I mean, he's not bothered. I mean, we're not.
leave the fine detail until it arrives, and then we can shout out or whatever. Maybe it's probably not even going to arrive this evening. We've been threatening it all day.
Cheer it all up, right? I was at all the meetings God sends, right? At 6:30, the writ is going to be issued to all the people that are written on it. So all the people that are written on that official, whatever it's called, injunction, are at Drury Street now to receive it. You have to be there, right? Even if they're not there, they can take effect of it anyway, but they're all going to be there, so like, because they're all together.
All you need is 2 people to go for it.
And then, as soon as they've got the writ, they're going to phone here, and we're all going to leave.
What about Calcutta? Do you want to leave Calcutta as well?
No, it's just this
Can I
building.
say something? I just heard this 6:30 news, and it's going ahead really. If the police are supposed to be going to be moving in, like the four different the 4 different sites. They mentioned the 4 different sites of City Poly.
A writ has been served on the 4 sides.
Everywhere.
No, you didn't say that. Not about the writ, but the police moving in.
Well, that's what we're
We can't believe that. The news was wrong yesterday about what happened at MPL. They said people locked the director in. They didn't. He locked himself in a room and told the press that he's been kidnapped. They changed it slightly to make it more viable, but it's still bullshit, isn't it?
So we'll have Calcutta House to go back to after this.
What decision was taken yesterday whereby passive resistance was the order of the day? The last decision I remember about an eviction order was that we asked for half an hour to get our gear together and then we walk out. That was a decision taken by the general meeting in Calcutta House days ago. Suddenly that's been revoked. Another unilateral decision? What the fuck's going on? The union's deserted us. Everybody else is saying different things about what we should and shouldn't do. We've not had any clear indication what the legal situation is. We've had loads of crap from the union. What are we going to do? How do we know you're telling the truth and no one else is? How do we know how liable we are personally and how much that's going to cost? Where's our legal advice? Where the fuck is the union?
Bruce,
hold on.
I just want to say that if we walk out of here and then go to Calcutta and do the occupation carrying as normal, we're kidding ourselves, because this is the brunt of the occupation, this is the climax of it. This gets on the news because we resist the police and we get carried out, then we've achieved the biggest goal we could hope for.
What price though?
If we go
Some
back
of us
to
just can't
Calcutta
afford it.
and sit there another 10 days, the world's never going to know about us, and we're just going to, wait for Christmas or something.
We're running. We're running because they wanted us each to pick up our writ. Okay? Now,
All of us haven't.
they wanted us to pick up our writ because it would disassociate us from Houndsditch. Not anything else, but from Houndsditch. And we didn't want to do that, so we left it down the back stairs.
Can I put out, although I didn't take the writ, effectively the executive, because it's executive, if you look at the thing, it's number 1. The executive have done so on that basis, and I as a member of the executive have effectively done so on that basis, but I refused to take the writ there and then because it's the only thing I could do.
He tried everywhere he could
I tried to resign,
disassociate himself.
but it wouldn't have made any difference.
The reason they've taken the writ is because the union solicitor is advising the union that as far as he's concerned, the union has not implicated itself in taking this particular building, and therefore, if they take the writ, they're literally washing the hands of this particular building. Okay, and that's, I don't know, I suppose that's...
explain why that is.
Yeah, go
on. Basically, if the union admits to having something to do with taking this building, then it's liable for all the costs when it goes to court. If it distances itself from taking this building, it's not liable. That is why he wants the union to do that. So just make that.
Is on the basis of my position as solicitor to the Students' Union, and my firm's position as being the firm retained by the Students' Union to advise it on all matters on which the union feels it requires legal advice. As I made perfectly clear earlier on this evening, there is the potential for conflict between the advice that is given to the Students' Union in how it proceeds in the course of an occupation and the advice that may be given to individual students who are part of that occupation. I make no apologies, therefore, for saying the advice that I have given relates only to the position of the Students' Union and not to individuals. It is undoubtedly the case that individuals may find it a benefit to take separate legal advice for their own purposes, because the advice I'm going to give is not necessarily of general applicability.
I think, really, if we look beyond this, all right, if we come out on Monday, we're doing a lot more. If we come out today, what we are saying is, all right, they've slapped an injunction on us, here we are, a solid front, we're coming out. What have we achieved? As far as I'm concerned, we've achieved a lot from the point of view that we've shown we can all stand together. But what we're also saying is that the minute they slap some kind of legal device on us, we are going to fold. And I think that is a message that is going to be carried through this poly to other students. We're talking about what we should be doing for the students in the future of this Polytechnic, and I say what we should be doing now is setting them an example. And I think that we should come out on Monday with Middlesex. I don't think that if we come out today we're doing anything other than buckling under the first signs of pressure that they give us. And don't mistake yourselves. If this works, if we come out today, the next time we try something like this, they're going to slap an injunction on us straight off, and we're going to come out again. And our occupations are going to be limited to something like 24 hours, and we're going to achieve absolutely no firm stance whatsoever. I really believe this. Okay, that is all I can say to you. But as far as solidarity goes, I don't think coming out today because the Polytechnic have asked us nicely, and if we don't, they're going to have us up in court, is solidarity. I think solidarity is stand up.
Is this thing about the law. I don't think that's the point. You know, the law is bollocks to the law as far as I'm concerned, right? It's not the point. The point is, right, that we've got to think tactically because there's a Christmas holiday coming up, right, and there's nothing we can do about that. That's an obstacle to us carrying on the occupation indefinitely. So we've got to think about how we carry on the struggle next term, right? So in terms of what we do now, right, I think it's a question of how do we come out, because at the very most we can stay until next Friday, right? It's a question of how we come out. Now, what this has all been about has been collective action, getting a sense of our collective power, right? It started on the basis of involving as many people as possible, and that's the principle which has guided it all the way through. And that's the basis upon which we should end, right? And also, a part of that has been the fact that it's a national movement. This is why I agree, right? We stay until Monday morning, the court case is at 11 o'clock, we leave here all together, everybody from all three sites at 10 o'clock, we go up to the court, we have a bloody big picket, we ask Middlesex, I think their case is at 1:30, but we ask them to get there at 11 o'clock to support us, right? So we're all there together, part of a national movement, and, you know, showing a collective protest, right? So it's not like we're admitting defeat, it's like we're saying, you know, we've come out of occupation for now, right? But we're still not bloody satisfied, you know, we still give them a bloody good, you know, we let them hear our voices, right? And then next term, you know, we carry on.
We have achieved something, and we're going to continue to achieve something. But let's come out as a national movement, fighting strong on Monday.
Yeah. I'll tell you one thing. I agree with what Martin Lindsay said at the first day of the occupation, at the big meeting. He said, it means sticking it in every night. And I'll tell you, there hasn't been much of that.
Well, not for Hollis, anyway.
Well, not for me. I don't know what everyone else. I don't know how everyone else has been doing, but
we just like to take a vote, okay? Who's got
It's been a pretty dry time for me, if you'll pardon the pun.
Well, what is it?
What about drugs? Go on, tell us.
Drugs?
Drugs
No, we voted against taking drugs.
We don't have drugs here because it could play into the hands of the directorate, and we're very opposed to drugs.
Yeah.
The students of today
It's not like the 60s.
It's not. It's not all about. It's not all. I'll tell you. Look,
Every morning.
everyone here is totally opposed to drugs.
Totally opposed.
Just say no.
Yes.
Okay, right, everybody? Just say no. Let's all say it. 1, 2, 3 after each other all at once. Let's just say no, okay? 1, 2, 3. Just say no. Okay?
I'm confused.
12 years, 12 voting years I've been a Tory. But not anymore.
What changed? What changed?
That's brilliant. What changed my mind?
It's brilliant. That's good. Another Daily Mail loss.
No, but I mean, it's not brilliant because I feel I'm insulting people.
When you say I'm a Tory or I'm a Conservative, you have to remember that up until a few years ago, I really didn't know any different. All I knew was what I'd been brought up to know.
Yeah.
And now I'm old enough to understand the issues at hand and what I think is right, what I feel is right, and what other people think and feel is right, which is what really this is all about. I didn't do this for me, because I don't get a grant. My parents pay my fees. I get money off my parents to live each week with my girlfriend in the flat. So I really have absolutely fuck all worries about this at all, and I'm going to end up with a lot of money.
So why are you doing it?
Because I think that higher education, and this is why I went into it, I'm not a political person. Now, I was. You know, I just think that they're all out for themselves, so I choose not to vote, I choose not to get involved in
why
politics.
are you doing the occupation then?
Because having been in higher education, I think higher education is a very important factor in turning out people to go and basically run the country and do all the things that they do. And I felt that students get an incredibly raw deal. They don't get what they want, they don't get any money, they don't have housing benefit, there are students sleeping on the streets trying to come to college.
Yeah, but housing accommodation here, probably back home, right, and there's people been living there who are 18-year-olds, and it's the most, you know, it's just absolute state, and the college authorities themselves aren't doing anything about it. But what's actually out there, you know, when you're paying 45, 50 quid a week for somewhere to live in London, right? I mean, my paying 45 quid and the ceilings fell down in my house, you know. Now I'm sure that's happening to many students of all ages, especially people on 18 years. Not enough housing, not enough accommodation in the college to go round. It's not enough.
Well, Bromley by Bow is all we're offered after the first year, and it's the pits. You couldn't get any lower than that. It is basically the worst, one of the worst slums in East London. It must be.
And that's what they're supplying for 18-year-old girls to come down from.
And boys, and boys.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
Like that.
A lot of people have just got no conception whatsoever of how the lower funded polys are actually run, what the conditions are. Myself included, like when I was 20, before I came here, I had this, I knew it was more serious, but basically I had this notion it was the bigger universities, they provide you with accommodation, or you get money from your parents.
I think we've drawn a lot of attention to what's going on, not everywhere in the country, but at least in certain parts, and that's good.
Locally, have you made a difference?
In London, definitely. Definitely.
How?
Well, we've had some good press, thanks to Angela, one of our main press officers here.
Press baron, a well-known press baroness.
Yes.
She's suddenly falling off ships.
What have you actually achieved?
Well,
don't go sailing next summer.
We've made them realise that we have some power and that we do have unity, because City Poly isn't exactly known for its unity and its student spirit.
I think we've achieved something as in ourselves, you know. Not that we haven't actually gained anything like extra money for the library.
No, but we will. When we go back into negotiations,
yeah, we will. Okay, we will. But what we've gained now is the sense of collectivity and the sense of power that we've got.
Definitely.
Because like, just you suddenly realise, Christ, that we can just control this whole building. You know, we can just go into the administration centre and like take it over.
Yeah.
And it's quite, you know, it gives you quite a thrill, doesn't it?
I went to the press office and I helped out, and we got Thames TV and BBC and everything here, and I thought, shit, my voice can make a difference. I am making a difference to issues in this country.
The way things are now with the government, the system precludes people who are from working class backgrounds from having this kind of education.
Definitely.
We're not here to say we're all working class, because we're not all working class.
Yeah.
I'm from a middle class family. I'm very lucky that I am, because that's why I can do this, you know. A lot of working class children
stand up for
can't do
other
this.
people's rights and say this
Yeah,
is
I know I'm
unfair.
lucky. I know I'm lucky, and I'm so glad that I'm lucky that I want to make the point of it. And this is my point. That's why I'm in occupation, because not everybody can have this, you know.
That's right. I mean, you don't live in your college for 7 days.
14. I've been here for 14 days.
I went 7, and it shows because I'm fucking tired. I've worked my arse off, but I really feel that I hope that I can make a difference. I really do.
Labour is saying they will invest in education, higher education. That means us.
So did the bloody Tories.
No. The Liberals are saying they will invest in education, even if it means putting a penny on income tax, whatever that means. The Tories aren't saying that. The Tories are saying everything's fine with education. At least the other parties accept that there's a problem here, as there is with other areas in the country.
But by saying
they're accepting there's a problem, the Tories aren't. So why are they telling us these fibs? Why are the Tory parties coming back to us with statistics now on there is no such thing as student poverty, whereas everybody else in the country recognises that there is.
Yeah, but educated people are more dangerous. They are more dangerous to the status quo.
Well, isn't that the whole point then?
Because they can change things. They realise
only
they
the
can
rich
change
are allowed
things.
to be educated. That's what they're saying.
Yeah, well, the rich are happy.
Why do they think rich people are more capable of running this country than anybody
They're
else?
not.
For fuck's sake.
No, they're
I
not.
don't think they're
But
saying that.
they want to keep the rich people
Why
in control.
are they saying it?
I want to tell you something. Why they're saying it is that because they don't feel that investing in people's education necessarily brings back the results. It's not an economic factor. For the Tory government, they're concerned only with economic returns of any money that they put in and invest.
Why do they?
Because they're running this country.
That's how monetary
Situation.
works.
I'm saying it's not. I'm saying how they're running the country is business.
So it's
they
not,
don't have morals. Yeah.
What do I think of our students' union? They're like I was before this occupation, apathetic.
We're in occupation for 2 weeks. We've done a hell of a lot, and I really feel that my wish has come true in a way, you know. I've actually contributed, and I didn't even really expect it, but it just happened, and it has, you know. I mean, maybe Joe Bloggs out there doesn't give a damn what we've done, but the fact is I give a damn what we've done, and we've done a lot.
And you're Joe Bloggs?
Yeah, I'm Joe Bloggs.
Oh, Joe Bloggs.
I hope not. Actually, I think I'm special, but you know.
He asked me why you feel alright. I said yes, I feel wonderful tonight.
Go to a party.
And when I choose, yeah.
That was the last one.
And everyone
Walking around with me.
It's walking
around with me.
And she asked me.
And then she asked me,
do you feel alright?
do you feel alright?
Yeah, baby!
No.
And I said, baby, close your eyes.
This is the 14th day of our occupation. We're leaving today to go to the High Court. We're going to be seeing the judge at about 11. We don't know what he's going to do, but it doesn't sound too horrific. And hopefully things will turn out all for the best, and we'll be occupying next year sometime.
We'll be back, we'll be back, we'll be back.
Who's that? Stop the city. Yeah. Straight down.
Sit down in front of the traffic.
Stop the city. Which one?
Right, let's go start the revolution then. Come to man the barricades. I thought the police really liked it.
Here comes the sun, and I say, it's alright.
want? Decent growth! When do we want it? Now!
Basically, we just went in there and we received an order not to go into occupation.
Enter, occupy or attempt to occupy.
Again.
For a month.
And we're not to be for a month.
And then we have to go back.
And even if we do go, but even if we do have to go into occupation in a month's time, I'll still support it.
Yeah, we'll be back.
We'll be back. We'll be there. And we'll be in the meeting.
Right.
Do you have to go back to court?
They will be going back to court to sort out the proper injunction. The problem is it was thrown out because, in fact, all of the people here should have been represented in that thing, which was completely impossible because they should have all individually had that right.
So next time they're hiring Wembley Arena so we can all go.
Sorry. Yeah, I mean, they had no way of doing what they originally wanted to do.
Metropolitan Polytechnic. We are students making a legitimate protest in the only way we can. Firstly, against education being turned into a privilege for the well-off and denied to those less secure. And secondly, against our having been deceived into a second-rate education. Whilst we understand that there can be no dispute over the legal title to the land, in our view, the Directorate hold that land in trust for us, for educational purposes, and we feel that they have breached their duty of trust towards us. The management are not addressing either the issue of underfunding or of putting pressure on the government to take a serious look at student poverty, specifically in providing for the repayment of a £3 million deficit by wantonly laying off key staff without replacement and drastically reducing the teaching hours of those remaining. In addition to failing to provide sufficient materials and adequate facilities, the intake of new students this year has markedly increased, further stretching the already untenable situation, all of which led to the student body undertaking occupation in order to bring attention to the gross mismanagement and facilitate a satisfactory solution. This is why we are here today, having relinquished our possession of the Cat Hill premises at 12 midday today. In our view, it would be punitive to award costs against the student body at Cat Hill who have voluntarily vacated the premises without damage. That's what we read in our hearing today.
And you won.
And we won.